We're back on the Senior Network. Jessica has joined us, along with Willie Ann and her wonderful story and award here. We're going to talk a little bit about education in hospice. I'd love to hear about what you do specifically.
Well, I actually have two roles in hospice. My primary role is a nurse case manager, which means I am out in the field working with patients and their families.
Which involves what?
It's across the spectrum. So we do everything from nursing care to spiritual, social work. We have great volunteer programs. It involves really taking care of the patient and the family. So we don't focus so much on the disease anymore. We kind of shift our goals away from that and start really focusing on that patient and family and preparing their loved ones for what is to come.
And from a nursing point of view and an education point of view, how do those two combine for what you do?
That is a great question. So education, I do a couple of different ways. First and foremost, it's internal. I think that it is extremely important that all of our nursing staff is well educated on end-of-life care. So I do a lot of education work with them in the office. We will come up with different scenarios on different disease processes, how to better manage symptoms, how to better manage families.
I was just going to say expectations.
The dynamics of the family.
And there is a huge family dynamic component, especially when it comes to hospice care. And that family is not excluded from that patient, so you have to view them together.
Which makes a lot of sense.
It really does. It can be difficult at times, obviously, but it is very holistic. We practice, again, managing the patient and not so much the disease anymore. So my role as an educator is really to teach those nurses how to handle those situations. A lot of the conversations that we have with families are very difficult. They're hard. They're not easy conversations, but they are important conversations. We want to make sure that the nurses are making full assessments when they meet these patients, everything from their level of pain to their spiritual needs to their psychosocial needs. And that's one of the big roles that I do with education, is making sure that the nurses really know how to go in and meet these patients, and so that we can meet their expectations as a family.
So you also provide the resources necessary within those kind of modalities, if you will.
Absolutely. We work as a multidisciplinary team. So we have spiritual care providers, we have social work, volunteers, nurses' aides, registered nurses, a medical director. We all work as a team to make sure that everything that the family needs is provided
for them. Do you
for
think
them.
Initially when people come to hospice, they have a preconceived notion of what's gonna go on and what hospice is? Because I hear that a lot.
You do, and
I'm not sure I want to call hospice in yet.
It's not a bad word.
No, it's not a bad word. Unfortunately, it is associated with a negative connotation, and it is. It is for people who are terminally ill. And I do hear that a lot. I hear, it's too early, I'm not ready yet. The earlier that hospice is involved, when you have been diagnosed with a terminally ill disease, research has shown time and time again, the better the outcomes. Not just for the patient, but for the families as well. Better symptom management, better care, more focus on the family, not going back and forth to the hospital, being cared for wherever you reside, if that's in your home or a nursing facility or an assisted living facility.
You mentioned that you do internal education. Do you also do patient and family education and just sort of help alleviate the mystery or the fears or the...
Absolutely. That's a huge part of my role, is going in and saying, this is actually what we do as a hospice. We are not here to number your days. We're just here to add quality to whatever time it is that you may have left. And that's really important for families because, again, they do get that notion that we're just here to for a short period of time, and we don't often get in as soon as we could.
So do you work with the caretakers family, the whole...
Everybody.
So all of you all are
and a big part of my role would be to go in when we have these wonderful caregivers that are already in place and say, okay, this is now a hospice patient, and teach them how to care for somebody at the end of life.
You might want to pay attention. Oh, that's pretty amazing. Are most people pretty receptive to that? They're probably grateful for the opportunity to
They really,
learn.
really are. We've had really good results with that, with our caretakers, especially our private duty caretakers, the ones who have been with the families the longest. And they're very receptive to it. They really appreciate the education and the additional assistance. Hospice, we come in and we teach you how to deal with this terminal illness and how to take care of your loved ones. We're not in the home 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. It makes so much sense.
Yes.
I know we're about out
Yep,
of
we're
time.
going to have to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.